Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and it is like an army of lawnmowers and blowers outside my window right now. I see one lawnmower, and then there's a blower down the street, and I think somebody's cranking up another blower. It's war out here, folks. Now, wanted to first show you this before I get going. Masterworks has added a couple of new paintings, and I'm investing in this to diversify my portfolio into the art asset class that I've never had exposure to. And just to remind you the way it works, and they are one of my sponsors, I'll have a link to it in the top of the description of this video. But what these guys do is they go out and they'll buy a piece of art like a Banksy or something like this, and then they might spend $30 million on a painting, and then they go through with the SEC, they securitize the piece of art, they divide it into shares at $20 a piece, and then the minimum investment's $500. This is like groundbreaking stuff here, but it's an awesome opportunity. They're opening up an opportunity to many of us that we've never had before. This is the painting that they just added that my son said looked like the devil. And then these two, this is an Andy Warhol that they just added onto the platform. And then this one is an Albert Olin. When I look at that, that looks like a tail. It looks like a lion or something. But anyway, this one is an Andy Warhol. I've always heard that name, but I've never invested in one of his paintings, but I'll bet you I do here shortly. All right, moving along. Brad Garlinghouse yesterday, he wrote, CNBC covered him saying Bitcoin tribalism is holding the crypto industry back. Folks, I saw somebody say it in one of my threads this morning, and it's so true. I believe, if I was a betting man, the Bitcoin people themselves created the term altcoin just so that they knew that that Bitcoin is a dinosaur technology. They knew that it could not compete on a level playing field against other technologies. And so all it has been is one big fat marketing program. And Ethereum has continued the marketing program, and their marketing program is that somehow, by some mysterious method, Ethereum is decentralized where all others are not, except for Bitcoin. And it's all a lie. And Brad Garlinghouse is saying how he feels about maximalism. And also, I was accused of being an XRP maximalist. Can you imagine that? But guess what? I'm not. You know what I am? I'm a utility maximalist. That's why I own XRP and XLM. Those are my two core. And right now I don't own the others for other reasons, but I believe a lot of these have utility. I believe Algorand has utility. XDC has utility. There's several of them. Cardano has utility. And Bitcoin and Ethereum, those are the two that I own some Ethereum in one of those Ethereum trusts, the Grayscale trust in one of my IRAs. And that's, you know what I call it for myself? I call it a corruption hedge. Isn't that sad that this day and time I have to have a corruption hedge? Because that's what it is. Many of you probably own Ethereum as a corruption hedge. And that is the idea that Ethereum somehow is not gone after by law enforcement. Now, trust you me, my XRP and my XLM aren't going anywhere ever. I know how this story ends. Now, and I said this, there's no Bitcoin in 2022. Now you think about this. Think about if 3 years ago they had created a regulatory level playing field and all digital assets were allowed to operate and allowed to, and the companies were allowed to go, run with it. Do you know how different this industry would look? I can promise you Bitcoin and Ethereum would not be on top in Bitcoin's case because it can't compete with any of them. Proof of work doesn't work. In Ethereum's case, those gas fees alone would have caused Ethereum to be jumped probably 10 times. And they know this, and that's why we've all been through this, is because they had to stop the others. That's why the SEC has gone on with all of this. Well, come in and talk to us, and then we'll put you on the shelf and maybe sue you. That's the reason they had to do it, because they knew the people that were the mega investors in this Bitcoin and Ethereum early on, they knew that they had to do that. That's why it was done. Write it down. Have you ever once heard a Bitcoin maxi call for a level playing field in the U.S. where all digital assets have regulatory clarity? No, and you won't, because for them, all of a sudden, it would become a competitive situation which doesn't end well for them. They know this. Bitcoin can't compete. It just can't. Now, yesterday, Laura Shin was trying to tweak social media, and she put out this video where her two ex-government friends, and by the way, this guy right here is with Katie Hawn with her new firm, Hawn Ventures. That's not a coincidence. And they believe, and I'll talk in my snobby voice because that's what these people are, including Laura Shin. Well, they believe that it's just not polite to talk bad about regulators, and we should all just sit down and shut up, because all of them got their Ethereum free pass and everything that they've worked for. But it's just not polite, and it's not, we heathens should just sit down and shut up, because it's a very bad business decision. It's almost like they're threatening people, isn't it? Which maybe they are. Well, anyway, because of this tweet right here, we have probably the greatest series of tweets in the history of crypto tweets by Library. If you don't follow Library, remember, is the company that's being sued. It's a smaller company that's being sued by the SEC, and the founder said, look, I tried to go and work with these guys from the beginning, and all they did is took the information that I presented to them when I was trying to work with them and sued me. They never gave me any information. They never told me how I could work within their regulatory scheme and be okay. And he said, I even offered to pay them. I even offered to, anything they wanted me to do. And all they wanted to do was to put this guy in purgatory the way that they did Ripple. And he finally realized it, and he said, enough is enough. Okay, here's a guy, this is a law-abiding citizen, just a businessman who's trying to do the right thing, and this is how he gets treated, and now he's had enough. So listen, look at this. In 2018, there's several of them, so I just went to his thread. In 2018, the SEC invited us to speak to them voluntarily. We naively agreed, gave them a presentation going line by line over the Hinman speech, said we'd be happy to make changes too. They never gave us a word of feedback, but just use the info to sue us. Do not talk to the SEC. And then they go on down here. We spent 4 years, they're responding to that stupid video by Laura Shin. We spent 4 years being as polite as possible, and it got us absolutely nowhere. It's hard to imagine how being honest about the corruption and depravity of the SEC could make things worse. Implicit in the idea that mocking regulators is a bad business decision is an admission of the most fundamental problem. The regulators are not neutral umpires calling balls and strikes. They're political actors simply going after people and companies that they personally dislike. If we made fun of McDonald's, it wouldn't affect the quality of service we receive on the next visit. Evidently, the people regulating cryptocurrency don't have the classiness of the fast food joint. And then to the greatest clip of all time. Anyway, this is just a long-winded way of saying that Gary Gensler should gargle our balls. I was at my son's baseball game when I read that, and I literally had sunflower seeds in my mouth and spit them out. This guy, man, that is a trip. Okay, now, and I retweeted that, and I said, even Gary Gensler should find that tweet hilarious. And then this goes hand in hand with what Jeremy Hogan just tweeted, and he said, I consulted with a U.S. crypto project the other day, and they said this: we just want to be 100% in compliance with regulations and sleep at night knowing we won't be sued. I had to tell them, sorry, that's impossible in the United States, maybe in another country, but not here. I hate it, but it's true. That is where we are, folks. That's your United States of America. It is sickening. And where is Congress? Where are all these congressmen? Why is Warren Davidson not pissed off about this? Where's Tom Emmer? Why are these guys, not, and I don't, when I say that, I don't mean, oh, we need to pass laws. No, This needs to be stopped. These people need to be stopped, and they need to be stopped in an aggressive way by our Congress people. Not this, oh, well, when we get a majority. I've been hearing that crap my whole life. That's a bunch of bull. Step to the plate, grow you a set, and call these people out. Call for an investigation. That doesn't mean you're going to get it just because you don't have the majority. Call for them to investigate the Ethereum ICO. Call for an investigation. Go to the microphone and say what you know is the truth. The video we've had, this is public information. Show it. If I'm a congressman, you want to be a rock star? Warren Davidson? Go to the freaking microphone and play that Joseph Lubin disguised whales video and say, why is this going on in the United States of America? And why is this company over here being sued and libraries over here being put into purgatory while these people are let through the door? Why? You want to be a rock star, Warren Davidson? Quit all this hemming and, oh, well, you have to have the majority. That is bullcrap. That is bullcrap. Of course you have to have the majority to have real power. But you know what kind of power comes with getting up and growing a set and telling the truth to the people that are going to be the ones electing you or getting you out of there? That's where the power is in being a leader. That's where the power is. It's not in sitting on your hands waiting on the freaking if we get a majority, then we can do something. No, the time to be a leader is now. That's how you're going to get the majority. Man up. You're a freaking military guy, Warren Davidson. Man up. It's not like you can't do this. And I'm not trying to just single out Warren Davidson. He's just the guy that's been saying this kind of stuff. Don't pretend to be a good guy and then sit on the fence. Don't pretend. And that goes for Cynthia Loomis too. I know exactly what you guys are up to, and you're giving off the perception that you are just Bitcoin, Ethereum maxis. You're giving off the same vibe that the Blockchain Association and the Chamber of Digital Commerce is that you're in disguise as pro crypto on the whole, but it's just Bitcoin and Ethereum. But you can solve it easily. Do what I just said. You'd be a rock freaking star. All right, sorry for that rant. The U.S. Treasury has imposed sanctions on crypto miner BitRiver, targeting one of the industry's largest data center service providers over its operations in Russia. Now, Linda P. Jones put together this interesting little thread. For the first time ever, the U.S. Treasury just sanctioned Russian Bitcoin miners. They're the third largest miners in the world. They did it because they're afraid that Russia will try to get around sanctions by using Bitcoin. According to the article, the sanctions on BitRiver could have an impact far beyond the crypto mining industry in Russia by potentially redistributing and reducing the computing power of Bitcoin mining across the globe. A similar thing happened to Netflix. The suspension of service in Russia lost over 700,000 subscribers. Then she goes on, Russia can't mine as much Bitcoin. Simultaneously, Evergrande bonds are close to defaulting in China. As he said so well below, if Evergrande defaults, look at this, Evergrande defaults, Tether defaults, because they were invested in Evergrande, that's my understanding, in Evergrande bonds. Bitcoin, Ethereum defaults if Tether defaults. USD defaults, the world defaults. Evergrande 3 weeks ago finished their audit, but have held on to it, waiting for the correct time. That's creepy stuff right there. Now check this. This is a hell of a thread from ProCoinNews.com. And by the way, ProCoinNews.com is the official sponsor of the Digital Asset Investor Hunting and Fishing Club, which I may go to this weekend. The deer need to be fed down there, and they are loving this thing I've been putting out called Rice Brand. You go from seeing 1 deer on the camera to like 7 deer on the camera. I think it's the crack cocaine of deer because they like it. Now, but Procoin News put this out. Red alert. We covered the other day that George Soros had invested in Polysign. All right, so here's the tweet from that. And then Bank XRP, he's showing several tweets I wanted to show you. Polysign, the tech team, is led by Arthur Brito, founder of Ripple, and David Schwartz, Ripple's chief cryptographer. Andrew Zell, Soros investing in Polysign, time to pay attention. George Soros now invested in Polysign. Didn't he recently meet with Gary Gensler? That's correct. Then we've got this, Esoteric XRP. Who are the key developers of XRP LILP? David Schwartz, Arthur Brito, Stefan Thomas. Who are the key developers of Polysign? David Schwartz, Arthur Brito. Who is the key developer of Codius? Stefan Thomas. The plan, XRP plus Polysign plus Codius equals $700 trillion market. Breaking, Vanguard becomes investor. Vanguard now owns 82% of Twitter stock. Then you got this. That's the same tweet. Let's see. When Joel Katz and Arthur Brito release Polysign and us retail holders can lend out XRP to corporations, banks, governments. Ooh, that's going to be a great day. All right. So a lot of interesting stuff there. That's a good thread. Now, I wanted to show you this thread because this is an important thread I put together this morning. Do you remember when Charles Gasparino first jumped onto this Ripple story, the SEC suing Ripple story? Well, this is what Charles Gasparino tweeted back then. He says, breaking. This was on September 15th, 2021. SEC enforcement tells Fox Business the logic of the agency's case versus Ripple is that the company's infrastructure is still being built out, so XRP, the token which was used to finance the thing, is considered a security. Okay? Ethereum infrastructure is totally built out and has been for years. Thus, it's clearly a commodity. Hester, and then I won't go to the other part. But they're saying that Ethereum, this is the SEC, saying Ethereum's infrastructure is totally built out and has been for years, and thus it's clearly a commodity. Well, let's look at this. This guy right here, this is on May 17th, 2018. This is the guy that Laura Shin said was in the Ethereum shadow government, and Vitalik Buterin was afraid to say his name or talk about him. In fact, she said that he just whistled like, I can't talk about him, okay? That's the guy right there. Well, this is him on stage 1 month before Bill Hinman gives the speech. So against this backdrop, understand as you watch this video, this guy is saying that all the Ethereum founders don't think that the Ethereum infrastructure is complete. But somehow, Bill Hinman thinks it's complete 1 month later. Bill Hinman and the SEC.
Yeah. So Ethereum Community Fund is basically, there were some projects last year which had done successful token sales to raise money for what they were building. And the consensus was that Ethereum is not quite ready for the types of additional infrastructures and applications that were intended to be built. And rather than wait for Ethereum Foundation or any of the existing infrastructure teams to build everything, there was a recognition that some of this we can do ourselves. And in fact, many of us want quite similar things, and they basically fall under like definition or label of a public infrastructure. So not only will it be useful for us to build, was their thinking, but also it will be useful for the entire Ethereum community and perhaps even the entire blockchain space beyond Ethereum. Okay, thank you. So I'm an advisor to many of the projects that comprise the founding membership of Ethereum Community Fund.
Sorry, had to include that last part. People fall, nothing against that guy, but people falling is one thing in life that never gets old. He didn't hurt himself, so all right, I'm gonna stop there. I'll finish, hit some of this other stuff in my next video. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that The Ethereum founders did not think that the infrastructure was built out in May of 2018. But Bill Hinman and the SEC decided that the infrastructure was complete, but not just that it was complete, but it had been complete for years before this guy just talked in May of 2018. Thanks for listening. The lies keep stacking up, boys.